So basically, these are the reasons why I had to quit my 9 to 5 job to be a full-time content provider. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Faith Job. Well, this video officially marks my becoming a full-time content provider both on YouTube, Instagram and every other social media platforms. Probably soon to be on cables. Do we still call that shit cables? Well, soon to be on television. This is not really a story time, but this is just like introduction. Professionally, I trained as a lawyer. 5 years at the university. I did my 1 year at the Nigerian law school to get my BL. To be very honest with you, those has been like the greatest times of my life. They have been like the highlights of my life for now, because in those 5-6 years I got to meet a whole lot of people, different characters, different personalities, different attitudes from different backgrounds, and those things that I've learned from those people, those are things that you can never teach a person within the 4 walls of a school or an institution. These are the reasons why I had to quit my 9-to-5 job. First and first, you have to know what works for you. Basically, I knew that at this point in time, having a 9-to-5 job wasn't really my thing. However, growing up, I felt like that is what makes you an adult. You know, you wake up in the morning as early as possible. For those who live in Lagos, you guys know, sometimes you even have to skip breakfast so you don't go late to work. I formed that mindset because of how I grew up. To be quite frank, as I got older, as I read more books, as I began to understand myself better, oh boy, I knew that a 9-to-5 wasn't for me. It wasn't working. I wasn't feeling happy. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I wasn't feeling excited every morning. It's very funny, there are a whole lot of things that get me excited. There was actually a point in time in my life I wanted to be a hawker. You can imagine, I was in primary school. I remember this vividly because I was talking to my brother, Victor. And I told him, like, I want to be like, that's one of my dreams, to be a hawker. And you know the reason why I wanted to be a hawker? I just felt like, oh my god, I'm in school. School is so stressful. And these children, they're just here having fun. They're just running around with goods to sell, like they're making their own money. So in my own little mind, I felt that being a hawker meant being a boss as a child, because you didn't have to go to school, nobody was bossing you around, and you were making your own money. Well, little did I know that those people had to do those things because that was like the only means of survival for them. Whew, how stupid was I? It's the same feeling I had growing up, that once you're done with school, you get a job. And the problem with this is because our mindset has just been programmed to believe that once you're out of school, you need to get a job, you need to start getting money. Getting a job is not the end product. The reason why people get jobs is because they want to get money. They want to be receiving this regular income every month, which is very fine, which is very good. But what that does is that it restricts and it constrains your ability to be creative, to think, to use your mind, to explore and do things that that has nothing to do with your profession, that has nothing to do with what you learned in school. So basically, my point being that you have to know what works for you. And the fact that I came to the realization that a 9-to-5 wasn't for me, and I just like to talk. I like to talk, I like to write, I like to interact, I like to meet people, I love to travel, I love to experience new things. That's why if you see my to-do list, there's always something new for me to learn. I want to learn a new language, I want to learn to play a new instrument, I want to try to sing on a different key. This life is too short for you to be one thing. They say, oh, you need to focus on one, you need to master this trade, master of something, jack of all trade, master of none. That is bullshit. Look, it is your life and you have the right to do whatever you want to do at whatever point in time, as long as it gives you that fulfillment, as long as it makes you happy. That's pretty good. Secondly, I realized what I really love to do, where my heart and where my passion lies. Brings me to the reason why a whole lot of people do not know why I studied law. The reason why I studied law in the first place was because I was a very shy child growing up. And in my own little understanding again, I felt like lawyers were like the bravest, the smartest, the most intelligent, and the most boldest people on the face of the earth, because of what I watched, because of what I was exposed to. Nobody forced me to study law. Not my mom, not my dad. If I had woken up and said, Mom, I want to go to the university to study music, they would let me because my parents are just as free as birds. They let you explore your options. They want you to do what you want. They're not going to impose any profession on you. I wanted to study law because I wanted to become bold in front of people. I've always known that I wanted to be a presenter. I just felt like, okay, lawyers are the boldest, they're the smartest, they're the most intelligent. I'm going to be a lawyer. I didn't regret it. I love every moment studying law. I have the knowledge. No one can ever take that away from me. And I'm going to use that knowledge very well. Thanks to Game of Thrones. Knowledge is knowledge and power is power. So what I actually wanted to gain and what I wanted to get from studying law, I got it. Because right now you can place me in front of any crowd and I will speak. While I was at university, I did politics. I was forced at first. Initially I was forced, thanks to Chibuzo. Initially I was forced, but as time went on, I'm like, okay, you want to be a presenter. You can't be a presenter and be shy. You can't be a presenter and be timid. You need to be able to stand in front of a crowd and talk to people, not with a shaky voice and not with your hands trembling. Contested for a senatorial seat in my constituency. It was an eye-opener for me. That was just a part of it. And then you go to law school and you have moved a mock trial. Because in the real life, when you're done with university, you're done with law school, you need to be able to stand before a judge. And trust me, especially the female judges, they can be very mean. You can't be like,
my lord, may this is honorable courts and my parents. They're just
going to be like, speak up, counsel, you're audible, you know, things like that. If you've been to court, you know what I'm talking about. Well, I have. I'm happy that I went to court. I've gotten that experience and no one is taking it away from me. Again, I studied law because I wanted to be bold, because I thought and I believed the lawyers were the boldest. And trust me, lawyers are very bold. Though I've met some that are way opposite to what I think law should be or what a lawyer should be. But it doesn't, who am I to judge, you know? That is the second reason why I had to quit my 9 to 5, because I began to realize who I truly am and what I really wanted to spend my life doing. And so 9 to 5 out, presenting, content providing, singing, whatever, entertainment, that is where you find me. The third reason why, it's very cliche but it's the truth. Life is too short to do things you're not happy doing. It kind of relates to the first thing and the second, but I'm kind of rephrasing it and trying to break it down. I'm 2 years post call and 1 year after my NYC, and my NYC was the only time that I worked like a whole year. And after that, I just have been hopping from one job to the other because, of course, I cannot spend my time in a place where I'm not comfortable, where I'm not happy. I know some people say, oh, you're just an ajebota. You can't even want, life is hard. No. If you want life to be hard for you, keep that energy to yourself. Life shouldn't be hard. Jesus has already paid the price. Why should I come on earth and suffer? I mean, I have the abundance of everything I need, and that includes happiness. I cannot trade my happiness just because some people have the notion that life is tough and you have to be tough. I'm very tough, but I choose my battle, and if I feel it's not worth it, I'm not going to waste a single energy trying to prove myself to somebody. Or that is the third reason I couldn't spend my time doing things I was not happy doing. I know that I want to be a presenter. I know I want to own my own TV show. I want to be the next Oprah Winfrey. Or I'm going to be the next Oprah Winfrey. That powerful, that charismatic, that influential, that rich, that confident and bold as a woman, not afraid of saying what she believes and standing for what she believes. That is amazing. I mean, what are you on earth if you cannot make a difference in your environment and to the world in general? So yes, I want to be like Oprah, and I'm going to watch and see. Just watch and see. The fourth reason why I had to quit my 9 to 5 is because I have had bad experiences with employers. Like, they are not encouraging. Like, every single one who has employed me, except for my first boss who I served under during my NYC, they've just taught me what or how not to be a boss or how not to be an employer. In every situation in life, you have to, there's always a good or bad. You need to learn from it or you just ignore it. And I have chosen to learn from their mistakes. They don't know how to treat their employees. They do not keep to their words. They do not care about you. People don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. And you can't expect me to sacrifice my time and every other thing I have for you when you're not willing to do the same for me. It just doesn't work that way. I have nothing against Edo people, but they all happen to be from Edo State. I don't know if they have a problem with employing, like they need to go and actually learn how to interact with their employees and how to treat them. If you know you can't do that, don't run a one-man business. Don't bring other people's children into it. And okay, I'm not going to deviate from what this video is about. My experience with one of the bosses is that they kept I and some other people for about 4 months without payment. They kept giving excuses, and they still expected you to come to work every day. Not for a single day did my boss ever come in and say, oh, I know it's very hard, sorry, I don't know how you guys are even transporting yourselves from your houses to work every day and you're still showing up. There was no explanation, there was no sympathy or empathy, there was nothing. He just felt like we owed him the obligation, and he kept saying this whole thing of, you have to be passionate about the job. Brother, passion doesn't pay bills, okay? Like, the reason why people actually come to work is because they want to make some money at the end of the month. Passion is good. Passion is what is going to keep you there when you know that, oh, like when you're losing hope, when you're losing faith, when you're losing that ginger. Passion is what will keep you. But passion does not pay the bills. You can't tell me I should be passionate coming to work every single day, including weekends, and you're not giving me any extra allowance, no bonuses, nothing. One word, that's wickedness. And God judges the wicked. I know it's a sound of Christianity, but really it's not good. So yes, there are like so many other reasons, but if you know, if in your heart genuinely you think that 9 to 5s are not for you, do not force yourself into doing it, because you're going to live a very long life regretting. If you feel being your own boss is what you want to do, if you feel singing is what you want to do, regardless of whatever you studied at university, regardless of what you graduated with, you need to follow where your heart lies. When you go down that path, even when the money's not coming in, you still feel happy, you still feel excited waking up every morning to provide this service to this set of people, or to do this or do that. It's not easy, but in a very short time, you see that your hard work, your passion is going to pay off pretty soon. So guys, don't feel bad, don't feel discouraged if you don't have a 9 to 5. It's really not as serious as people make it seem. It's just like a modern day slavery, to be very honest. And in a slave and master relationship, I really want to believe that most people would want to be masters and not slaves. Slaves to time, slaves to money, slaves to your bosses, slaves all through. There is no problem if you're an employee, if your boss treats you right, if he does what he's supposed to do at the right time, he or she, it's fine. Like, stick with it. If 9 to 5 is where you do it, don't let Faith Job discourage you. Who am I? Okay, that has officially been my story. Thank you so much for listening to my rant. Well, they're not really rants, but you know, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and you can also do one more thing. Come hit the notification button. This bell icon right there, you could just hit it up and you're going to get notified each time that I post a new video, which is going to be like my life story from now on. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.
Somebody, she want make her come Korea. I'ma make her in one body, yeah. Hey baby, hey, you know what it is.